Sometimes I miss my old life. This used to be my balcony. This was my living room. I lived in a beautiful condo with all of the amenities. But when my unit was being sold, I had to go. And not being able to find anything else comparable in my budget, I ended up in this place. A regular apartment, no amenities. 7 years ago, I moved into this apartment with one clear thought. I'm not staying. And so I never fully unpacked. But now, I take a look at these boxes and I see that they've become more than just clutter. They're a mirror. And I'm finally ready to face it. I'm ready to face the reality of getting comfortable within my discomfort. What's up, everyone? Sylvie here, and welcome to The New Narrative, a channel about rewriting our narratives and changing the trajectory of our lives for the better. Thanks for joining me. Different set today, not as aesthetically pleasing, but you know what? Everything isn't always curated sets, a beat face, and a beautiful smile. Life isn't always a highlight reel. Sometimes you gotta be real. So this beautiful backdrop is a direct result of my procrastination and my denial. This floor is uncomfortable. Anyway, I first moved out in my early 20s. And I've moved plenty of times since then, probably over a dozen times. And every single time I've moved into a place, I knew within a week or two whether or not I was staying. And when I realized upon moving into a new place that I wasn't staying, what I've always done is just leave things in boxes. I would remove just what I needed, utensils, couple of plates, the clothing that I needed, but everything else would largely stay unopened. I had this down to a science. I moved in, I realized, I'm not staying, leave things in boxes, and I would just live in this perpetual state of, I guess, limbo, if you will, until I left. And usually that happened within a year or two. Now, for me, leaving my items in boxes represented to me a symbol of transience, maybe emotional protection, maybe even defiance. I was reminding myself, hey girl, you ain't sticking around here. All right, leave your stuff in boxes and give yourself the fire that you need to get your ass out of there. And for a while, this system worked for me. So when I moved into this place, it was no different for me. I moved into this place because I kind of had no choice. I had to leave where I was, and I couldn't find exactly what I wanted. So I took what was available. So I knew I wasn't going to live here very long. There was a part of me that was so used to having my, my little amenities and my little benefits of condo life that I thought, I'll find that again. I will find that again. And until then, stuff is just going to be remaining in boxes. That's what I knew, that's what I believed, and that's what I was working towards. But then 1 year went by, and then 2, and then 3, and then 5. And I had to confront a new reality for me. 7 years later, my needs are shifting. My son is growing, and we went from being just fine with him sleeping on our sofa bed that just kind of converted into the bed every time he slept. Because I still had a living room, right? I had a functional living room. But with time and circumstances, things were starting to change. And my living room turned into, half of my living room turned into my office / now YouTube set. And the other half, well, where my son was sleeping, we had to change that too. My son was getting bigger, and a sofa bed just didn't cut it. He needed his own space. And since I wasn't ready to leave, or rather, I couldn't leave because of the economy, because of many factors, really, we had to start changing things around. And I have to tell you, it frustrated me. It frustrated me that years later, I was still here. And I had to deal with the reality of having to change things around in order to be more comfortable here. I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to live in this dwelling. I wanted to be back where I was. I wanted what I had. There was a conflict there. I did look at my situation and thought that I was a failure. I thought that I was lazy. I thought that I wasn't working hard enough to get myself out of my situation. There was a lot of internal conflict there. I had difficulty dealing with the reality that I was going to be sticking around longer than I'd thought. It wasn't that I gave up on the idea of leaving, because I didn't give up. I was working very hard to change my situation. It's just that I had to admit that I'm still here. And to pretend otherwise was beginning to hurt. Sometimes growth means not running. Sometimes it means sitting inside of a place you wanted to escape and just making it work. Now, I'm talking about this situation, okay, of, moving boxes, right? I'm not talking about staying in a abusive relationship or anything of the sort. Let's be clear. Me continuing to stay here, I no longer view it as a failure. I don't view it as complacency. Nowadays, I just view it as a survival mechanism until I could actually leave, because I know that I will. It just might not be tomorrow. I think about just how difficult it's been to hold out for better. The whole when I, then I mindset. And it hasn't helped me. I'm delaying my ability to be comfortable where I am. And I know that today, progress means building right where I am. I'm grateful that I overlooked certain obstacles and decided to just do it. That is a victory for me. Okay. The beautiful thing about life is that when you identify a problem, it is then and only then that you can start going about solving it, bringing resolution. And so that's what I've begun to do. I'm going to take care of this mess. I'm going to clean up my mess and clean up my mind. I bought some storage cabinets. Let me show you. Yeah. All right. Storage cabinets. Got a couple of those boxes. They're collapsible, foldable. So it's going to be really easy to assemble them, and then they're going to look really nice. I am going to dismantle all of these gross, ugly cardboard boxes, and I'm going to purge. I'm going to organize, and I'm going to just get myself together and get myself into the mindset of this is where I'm at right now, however temporary, instead of I'm not going to touch these boxes until I leave. And even though they're an eyesore and killing me inside, I'm just going to leave them there. You see that? You see the difference in how I'm speaking? So yeah, that's what I intend to do. So yeah, let's open up these babies. Okay, guys, so as you can see, my cabinets have been assembled. Thank goodness for that. Now I could actually start to organize my moving boxes, sort them out, and put them in these lovely, aesthetically pleasing storage boxes. What's especially fun about this exercise is that I'm actually using my very own designed declutter bingo card, which, if you've watched a previous video of mine, you know that this is a declutter bingo card filled with like little tasks that you can do to declutter your space, declutter your mind. So I have already started using mine. This will be available on my website very soon, my first digital product. But I did leave an empty space there for anyone to kind of like fill out their own tasks that they want to do. So mine will be to organize my moving boxes. So once I'm done, I'm going to check that off, just like some of these other tasks that I've checked off of my bingo card. So yeah, but one thing at a time. I've assembled these and I'm good. I'm not going to do anything else today. I'm tired. I'm going to go have some lunch and an adult beverage, possibly. I can't wait to get started on this because I really want to just get this done. I'm tired of staring at these boxes. I want to be in a better headspace, and I want to turn my room into an oasis because right now it looks like the inside of a garage. Okay? It's no longer a space of refuge. It's become a dumping ground for my crafts, my moving boxes, and everything else. So we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done. And so to anyone out there who is feeling like they're in limbo, just understand that your situation may be temporary, but you're still here. And you deserve peace now, not just later. So let me ask you this. What boxes are you still keeping packed in your life? Is there a part of your environment or your mindset that still needs unpacking? As for me, I'm going to leave here one day. But until then, I need more than a reminder of what's missing. I deserve to feel at home, even here. All right, well, that's all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. If any of this has resonated with you, please feel free to drop a like, a comment, a share. And if you are so inclined, please feel free to subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.